Have you ever played a game where you play as a vampire hunter and you kill everything you see with a whip? No? Well, fucking get to it then, you dumbass!
So this is Castlevania, one of the more well-known franchises that existed on the NES. You control this orange-colored guy named Simon Belmont, and that is a cool name he has, by the way, and the goal is to go through these hard-as-fuck levels and defeat Christopher Lee himself. He's Dracula, if you guys didn't know. But before you beat the shit out of Edward Cullen, there are, like I mentioned just a second ago, some really difficult levels you have to go through. But first, let me just say that the difficulty in this game is just perfect. It's challenging, it feels good when you kill stuff with your... and it feels rewarding when you beat the boss of a stage. Why? Because you acquire the skills to take that bastard down, that's why. I have to be honest, I actually played Super Castlevania before I played this one, and you all know that you can whip in almost every direction in that game, but I thought that was awesome. So when I started playing this and I could only whip in one direction, I thought... aww. Well, at least I can whip people to death. And that's not the only weapon you get to use. You get to throw daggers, axes, cross-shaped boomerangs, and water that somehow makes your enemies burn to death. Well, at least it's useful. And you need the items too. Some enemies are hard to kill with a whip only, so you need some extra items. Like fire water! But that's not the only thing you collect in this game. Newcomers would assume that these hearts here are health points, but they're not. They're actually ammunition for your secondary weapons. Well, at least they're used with love. And look, I could make a billion jokes about the chickens that are inside the walls, but I think we've heard too many of those already. Oh, and you also collect money. Anyway! The level design is really damn good as well, but also hard at the same time. Sometimes there can be two different paths, and sometimes the jumps can be pretty difficult, and these stairs may give you a hard time. They can be very tricky, because Simon tends to walk on them when you don't want to. But that's not really the game's fault. That's something you'll have to take with a grain of salt, and then throw the salt in anger, because that's the most annoying shit in this game! But then we got the enemies. Oh boy. But honestly, these enemies give you the right amount of challenge. I've heard people saying that the Medusa heads are the most annoying enemies in the game, but not to me. No. These guys are. I swear, the flea men are so irritating that almost every Swedish curse word flew out from my mouth when I got this footage. They just keep jumping around in random places. And what is worse than these guys? Yeah, birds flying across the screen, dropping flea men. Heck, why don't you throw in a fucking giant bullet bill while you're at it? But excluding that, most of the enemies are okay. Not too easy or not too hard to kill. But it can get overwhelming when a bunch of them appear on the same screen. Well, luckily, I'm almost at the end of this stage. But the award of frustration goes to Alexander Skarsgård himself. I don't even know how many times I died on this guy. Your timing has to be perfect, otherwise you're fucked. But even if you defeat him, there is of course a second form! This is where shit got real and the word rage was not worthy enough to describe my fury. But after hundreds of tries, I finally beat him. And we get to see Dracula's castle being demolished like in Super Mario World. Christopher B. Yeah, we all know him, right?
Castlevania is a must-have for every NES owner out there. It's fun, it's challenging, the music is great, and you get to kill things with a whip! Or you can go ahead and get this game via Virtual Console for the 3DS, or Wii, or Wii U. Ah, do whatever the fuck you want, you don't have to sit here and listen to my bullshit! Oh, come on!